Hello everyone, I'm Jim Beretta from Customer Attraction Industrial Marketing, and welcome to Automate Live. I'm here with my friend, Chris Knorr from Accenture, from Eclipse Automation, and he's part of Accenture. Please, if you can take a second and introduce yourself, and how did you get involved, Chris, in industrial automation? Of course, we work together. So.
That's right. Yeah, well, thanks very much, Jim. So Chris Knorr, the Vice President of Business Development for Eclipse Automation, and I've been in the automation industry about 30 years now. Jim and I worked together many years ago, and been involved in the automation industry in many different aspects, applications engineering and programming, and eventually ended up getting into project management and finally sales and business development. So
yeah. We've actually been very close in career paths because I was apps guy too, and sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Chris, you're also Eclipse Automation is also part of Accenture. Can you maybe just explain that for a sec?
Yeah, for sure. It was really, I guess you'd say, a unique acquisition and something a little bit unique in the industry where certainly we see a lot of acquisitions going on right now. And a lot of what you see is the larger company buying a smaller one really to gain access to new markets and new industry segments and so on. But with Accenture, it was really something a little bit different and unique, I guess I'd say, in the marketplace where really we saw all the potential that with Accenture's size and breadth of industries that they get into, and at the same time, their expertise in Industry 4.0 and digital transformations with companies. And really, we're bringing to the table within their Industry X business unit a lot of capabilities to actually design, build, and integrate automation. And then coupled with their expertise in Industry 4.0 and data, it makes a really powerful statement and a powerful tool that for our customers really to help them in their digital manufacturing space. So, yeah.
So what are some of the things that you're seeing now? Because we've both been in the industrial automation for a long time. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in automation?
Definitely, we're seeing a lot of trends towards mobile robotics, autonomous operations as well. I think really customers trying to look at where can they save cost on labor. Certainly, labor shortages and filling that void with automation is a big piece of that as well. I think more and more we're really seeing a lot of enhancements in the capabilities of motion control and vision, the ability to really automate processes that you didn't see before, really. So data is a big piece of it as well, So and for us, again, going back to the acquisition and integration within Accenture, that's been a big piece of it as well. And I would say there's always been the element where we would take data from the shop floor and then integrate it up to the MES layer. But what's really a little bit new and unique is more, again, we talk a lot about the convergence of IT and OT. And I think the ability to have bidirectional data really across the entire data stack and having companies who can actually do that is really something kind of new and unique there.
You're probably not having any conversations with clients that don't include vision, ML, and AI, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's getting to be a bigger piece of it all the time. Certainly it's we've always recognized the need to be able to do in-process inspections, and for the sake that you're not adding more value to already failed parts. And I would say with a lot of the enhancements that AI brings to vision, it really does bring a lot of new capabilities to be able to teach those systems faster, to open up new opportunities and really new applications for vision as well.
And you're probably seeing from your clients that they're asking for automation to be easier to use. Is that would you say that's
absolutely? And with to that end as well, I think a lot of the things that we're doing with augmented reality to be able to make troubleshooting easier, to be able to connect to our clients easier and be able to react faster, certainly is a piece of that. Definitely a lot of trends in that direction. Yeah.
So I'd like to switch our conversation a little bit. You did a presentation today, and I am sorry, I was a few minutes late. I got in there, and
standing room only.
They wouldn't let me stand. They're like, "No, fire regulations, you can't stand." Yeah. Can you tell our audience a little bit of what you spoke about and what was and what you were talking about?
Yeah, for sure. And in what we do at Eclipse, and we deal with a lot of clients who are bringing new products to market, and with that, I think there comes a lot of challenges that are unique to that versus incremental ramp-ups in volume. But so with that, really what I was speaking about is from the perspective of an automation integrator, what are some of the areas to really look out for and to be cognizant of based on the experience that I've seen over the years in ramping up a new product to market. So looking at things like doing things like proof of principle to really test out new processes, thinking about data ahead of time, looking ahead to service. Really a number of areas there that we talked about, how to develop an automation concept for that matter, consideration for ramping that volume by having multiple pieces of equipment, using a first line as really more of almost a pilot or initial volumes, but understanding what your volumes are over time, and then really making the right commercial spend over that time, such that you have some time to develop those processes first, and then as you really continue to debug and shake out a lot of the issues on the machine, then that's really the time to go and bring on your next lines and continue to ramp your volumes.
It really does make a lot of common sense, right? Is engage your automation integrator early, do all the proof of principle, have all these contingencies, get, and look at the line 1, line 2, and line 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And really when time allows, and that's time doesn't always allow, and that's the challenge, I think, sometimes. But when time does allow, it does make a lot of sense to do it in that way. Or a scaled implementation as well. A lot of times we'll see clients that'll maybe start with one line, and then as well have that as a scalable line that over time you add on to that line, and certain considerations around that as well, though. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you had some recent examples, like even internally at Eclipse, where you've been able to do this, where a client takes this long view and says, "No, we're partnering with you right now"?
Yeah, definitely, and that's really the type of relationship that we like to have, when we can really have that long view in mind and help that client right from the early days to be able to mitigate a lot of those process risks, help them with that volume ramp-up plan, and really make sure that they're spending the right capital at the right time. And with that as well, making those considerations around looking at the complexity of the automation processes, taking a look at how many processes there are, taking into account what would the expected OEE be, that we can really make a proper plan around the cycle time. Looking at long-term things around service solutions as well is a big piece of it also. Yeah.
So I always think of like back in our days when we were working together, in the old days, it was more of a vendor purchaser relationship, and we didn't really want to tell you too much, and we didn't want to tell you what our budget was. Yeah. Do you find that might be changing a bit?
I think it has in a lot of cases. I'd say in particular where there are clients who are perhaps even newer to automation, we do find more clients that really do want to partner and truly find a solution provider that can walk hand in hand with them and really kind of look at the full solution in that way. So, certainly there are clients, I'd say, that do approach things a little bit more transactional, in particular where there are fairly standard processes, I guess I'd say. But I think as we get more and more into more complex devices, I think this is really where we can add a lot of value, really, is in a lot of that really early risk mitigation and planning phase, and then through to really the service end as well, and that long-term view of things. Yeah.
Do you kind of think that you're dealing maybe with younger engineers who might be taking a little bit different view of how to work with a supplier?
Yeah, I would like to say that we are, and it's a lot of things change over time, how people communicate, and I guess I'd say a lot of the digital tools that we utilize now as well, thinking about some of the things that we've been doing recently, taking solid models, importing them into Omniverse, and being able to show a client their line during the design review phase, that they're able to actually walk around that model and actually see it firsthand, really understand the ergonomics. They can have an augmented reality headset on, that they're actually able to really visualize things. And it's pretty powerful, and I think it does resonate with the younger generation as well. And I think with that, you do tend to build more of that partnership as well, really.
And I can kind of think about post-automation technologies, right, where they might be putting on a headset to debug a machine, or dial in remotely, which we've been able to do for 20 years, but we're still dealing with OT of the IT set. Has any of that changed?
Yeah, for sure, and definitely we're seeing trying to utilize those technologies more, really, for our clients. And actually in our demo that we have in our booth here this week, we've tried to demonstrate a bit of that capability, really, by setting up an augmented reality headset, and just around one of our demos, you can bring up some of the menus and drawings and things like that. Really, just giving some examples of how you would utilize that technology in a real life scenario, really to do, say, troubleshooting with someone remotely and that sort of thing, and utilizing that technology. So, yeah, definitely, I see a lot of real purpose behind it, and I think we're really starting to find some good uses. Yeah.
I bet you the maintenance people love this virtual reality, right? Because now they can go in and say, hey, how am I going to go change those tubes, or how am I going to update this, whatever this is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, they can be hands-free, they can visualize things much easier. And the big thing is, as well, for our technicians on the other end, they can see a first-person view, really, of what the client is trying to do, and be able to just troubleshoot that much easier, for sure. Yeah.
So you did this presentation, and it was a packed house. Yeah. You got some questions. Did you have any questions that stumped you at all?
Good question. That one. I can't say too many stumpers, but actually one did stump me. Actually, someone had asked about, what was it now? It was a book, and I'm trying to remember the topic, and I'll admit I probably don't read as many books as I should, but it was around automation technologies and so on. But not too many stumpers, though.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, it's so you're here at the show. It's going well. What are some of the conversations you're having here look like?
Yeah, and it's interesting, actually. I was really curious what it would be like in Chicago here, and in terms of what kind of customer mix and that sort of thing. And it has been really a true mix. We've had clients that we've been talking to in the medical device field, I guess being close, of course, to Minneapolis, Wisconsin, definitely a hot pocket for that. Dealing a lot as well with some automotive clients, quite a variety, even some modular automation, modular construction type clients as well. So actually a really interesting mix, having some great conversations about people both ramping up new operations, new products to market, but at the same time people who are just making as well incremental upgrades and incremental increases to their volumes as well.
And what are you seeing back at home in Cambridge, Ontario?
Yeah.
What are you seeing on the floor? Are you seeing a lot of consumer goods? Are you seeing nuclear? Like, what kind of areas of automation, without mentioning names?
No, yeah, for sure. And good question. We're seeing a lot right now in hydrogen fuel cell, a lot of EV technologies, and some medical device as well, actually. So a pretty good mix of industries, really. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so, listen, I want to thank you for coming on Automate Live.
For sure.
And where can people find you if they're interested to reach out and learn more?
No, for sure. Thanks, Jim. And my pleasure as well. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me, Chris Knorr, on LinkedIn.